Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
We're going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. I'll note that all members are present with the exception of Larry Williams, who we will excuse.
We were expecting him. I don't know.
We are expecting him?
We are.
Okay. So we'll keep an eye out for Larry. But we'll continue with the meeting. So first up, we have our minutes from our October 24th, 2019 meeting, and I'll accept a motion.
So moved. Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Meeting minutes are approved, and we'll move right on to the report from our secretary. Joe.
Yes, good morning.
Morning.
I'm in the process of preparing a draft schedule for 2020. I will circulate that to the staff to get comments, and then we'll present it at the next board meeting. I'll email it ahead of time so board members can comment as well. In general, we try to schedule the meetings for the third or fourth Thursday of every month because that works best with the payment schedule.
Got it.
And that completes my report.
Okay. Any feedback for Joe on schedule right now, or we'll wait and see what the email says? Okay. Sounds good. Thanks, Joe.
You're welcome.
We are going to go next to our program manager report and turn it over to Chris. Sans PowerPoint.
What's that?
Without your PowerPoint presentation.
No worries. It was slides, so we're hoping to share a little bit of progress of some of the slide photos, but we have it and we'll do it there. Just don't anybody tell Katie that we didn't present it, okay?
Okay.
And if she's watching, Katie, sorry. Anyway, so good morning. Just to give you some updates, we'll start in the upper left on the report that you have in front of you. In terms of procurement, Henniger is out on the street right now for bid. Bids are due on the 12th. We anticipate an award January, February, provided all the financing comes through as anticipated. So that we'll be in a position for that and a spring start. And a reminder, that's one of our long ones. We're going to be out till fall of 2022 on that one before we're completed. So.
Getting interest in the
right now,
bid?
yes, we do. I think we're 3-4 GCs that have expressed interest in it, and if we can hold there, that would be great.
What?
So we'll see. What's that? Oh, this. Okay, underneath Clary Elms Danforth and Fowler Interior, just to kind of go through that. On the Clary component, we've reviewed that, and the decision I believe has been made. I don't know if it's been finalized on all the details, but been made to move Clary over to Levy for a period of time as we're renovating that, because it will assist in our ability to get that done, and I think will be more efficient, and also reduce the bottleneck that we inevitably get at the end of the summer. One less building that we're trying to get completed before we have reoccupancy in September. On the Elms, we're working through a plan on Elms. I don't have the details for that yet, but we're working through it's a phased construction, but we're working through that detail as well.
Okay.
Underneath on Danforth, this has been standing, but Danforth, we're finalizing documents there, all of which are looking to go to bid in the first and second quarter. And just as a reminder, Danforth would swing to Shea for that 2021 year as well.
Danforth will be in Shea.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah. So, and then Fowler Interior, we're working on that one as well. But all of those over the next, the first 2 quarters of 2020 is the procurement plan for those. Underneath project financing and approvals, we're into OSC, just awaiting comments / approvals from them for the T2B financing. SIDA will be moving forward with that with their public hearing and then their vote here November, December. And then evaluation of project cost to date. We're looking at what we have left again and where does it make sense to do some additional work. And we're trying to weigh that on both the merits of what the work is and when we could do it, and being conscious of that workload again for that summer of 2020. Okay. So we're working on that and trying to tease out some additional work scopes that we could accomplish. Underneath the project design status, the Fowler Interior is the one there that, so we're still honing in on that one to reconcile the budget and to get that scope dialed in. The Fowler exterior, which I have a note on here that we have a concession storage building, the press box and the bleachers. We're looking at procurement means for that at the moment, trying to decide how we do that. Maybe the use of state contract combined with maybe a buyer's board or a consortium where we could purchase the bleachers press box off of that, would help on the procurement side, and then the CSB, we're working on how we procure that as well. Under the construction update, Blodgett, I think the big piece there was just that we turned over some long-awaited toilet rooms there. That was a bit of a pinch point for operationally for them. So 4, 3, and 2 are back. Right, Nate? I don't want to speak.
4 is back.
4 is back. 3 and 2.
2 will be back Monday next week. 3 will be back the Monday after.
After Thanksgiving. So then we just have the first floor left to do. So making some progress there. Grant, we're moving forward. Same thing with the front entrance way. If you've been by there, the roof, those operations are continuing. Huntington, same thing, moving forward with that. On the interior renovations, I think the thing to note there was, and it's noted underneath the constraint section, is that we will be working at Huntington into the summer. That's one where we know that there's just work there that will be continuing for the summer, into the summer of 20. Ed Smith, I think our focus there is punch list. They're reoccupied, the building is functioning. It's grinding through the punch list and completing the incomplete, and then the financial closeout to get us dialed up financially over there. So that's what we're working on there. Corcoran and Nottingham are moving forward. Those are, both our phased renovations, and we have some progressive turnovers that have been planned there, and we'll keep moving forward on that. Underneath the constraints or critical issues, as we mentioned before, the financing for T2B, we're kind of in a pattern here waiting for OSC and then SIDA as well, so that train is traveling. Our focus continues to be on Ed Smith and Bellevue, although we're occupied. Now like I said, now the piece there is push to get us closed, and financially and otherwise. Procurement planning, I think we kind of covered that, the change conditions and the Fowler Field. Fowler Field, just to spend for a minute, I kind of glossed over that when we're doing well over there. I had the pictures I had, we're going to kind of portray to you. There's 1,200 and change, right, in terms of piles to drive over there?
14.
Is it 1,400? Okay.
1,400, and we have 900 plus in the ground.
So that's gone very well, and with any luck, we're hoping that by Thanksgiving here, or just shortly thereafter, that all the piles are driven. And so once those are all in and they're cut off, and then we're kind of in a good place because we've hit a few obstructions over there, nothing super significant that we've been able to work through. And then following that, there's we pour a concrete cap over the piles, which builds that bridge, if you will, or builds that platform for us to then build a field on. So I think we're all going to not breathe completely easy, but easier once we know we have the piles in and we've got that platform to come from, because that kind of gives us our building point forward.
So Chris, question for you. I'm looking where it says change conditions. Is those change conditions connected to Fowler?
Haven't had any. We've been really very good there, believe it or not. We actually are in a position where the change condition we've had was a credit because we didn't need to do something that was anticipated. The conditions were more favorable. So at this point, no, we have not hit any surprises. We haven't had any major expenditures related to that weren't anticipated. So, but just find some wood and.
Everybody been knocking. Okay.
Oh, there's been a lot of knocking over there. I'm quite certain if you've driven by. So it's a interesting project and pretty fascinating. So
Yeah.
Yep. So that's basically what I had. Questions, comments.
I just had a question as it relates to just some of the trade issues internationally. Has that adversely affected the budget?
Trade is in manpower.
Trade is in goods and materials.
Oh, trade and materials. Yeah, I mean the index is trending. We've seen about 1.25% in 19. It's ratcheted up about 0.25%. Looks like it's going to land at about 5%, which is about where it's been for the past 3 years. About 5% annually in terms of that. We have that captured in the estimates. We've been using 5%. So what we have to watch a little bit is lead times has been the issue. Getting procurement of materials here. The manufacturers now are all on demand. And it's really critical that we watch that the order gets in and gets placed and gets tracked so that it'll land here when we need it. That's probably the more critical component is just demand.
So you capture everything, which I was looking for, but some of the steel prices I've seen, the number's about 12%.
The steel, the latest I had from when I looked for we put it out in October, steel was actually flat or a little down nationally. But then you go to, there's pockets, glass Glass is up a little bit. The drywall, metal stud stuff, that was kind of flat. So there's pockets, certainly. So, but we look at it kind of as an overall, you know what I mean, in terms of what we're doing.
So I can't help when I read the November fun fact to ask about the timing of the pouring of the concrete at Fowler. We don't want to avoid those ice bubbles.
Correct.
Can you
Absolutely.
When are you looking to pour the concrete?
Over the next, we're hoping over the next month, right, Nate? By the end of December, thereabouts.
We'll be pouring concrete during we're gonna extend into the winter, trying to get that concrete slab poured. So
Right.
there'll be winter conditions that are in place, winter protections. But in order to get that to a point where next spring we can start to build on top of it, that's what we're gonna have to do, so.
And you do that, you heat it, you use hot water. We have a tester there that'll test the temperature of the concrete when it gets. You can use ground heaters, we use insulating blankets. I mean, there's a lot of different methodologies. We do it frequently.
Okay.
But you do have to watch it, yes.
Well, maybe you should have left your fun fact off.
It's all good. We want you to know we're aware of it too.
Knowledge is power.
That's right. That's right.
Okay. And just remind me, I've asked this a couple times, I think, estimated completion date for the field.
Spring of 2020.
Nate wanted that one
Thank
if it
you.
came up, so
Okay.
working to better it, but that's what the
Fall 20 is what we're shooting for.
Thanks, Tom. That's the range. Appreciate it.
yep. Okay.
Anything else for Chris? All right. Thanks, Chris.
Yep. Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving. Okay. Next up, we will turn it over to Donna to get our financial statement report.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, if you have your financial statement in front of you, I'm going to start down on page 5. And with the statement of net position. At the end of September, the JSCB has a total of $130.2 million in Phase 1 and Phase 2 cash, with a total capital assets of $162.2 million. Compared to the August statement, cash has increased by $926,000 due to interest income that came in, a ban principal payment that was reimbursed by the district, along with a subsidy payment that we received. The total liabilities at the close of September was $294.5 million, and we end up with a total of, at the end of September, a negative $2.1 million in net position. And I'm going to go on to page 6. This shows the current year activity, and you'll notice on Phase 1 there's very little activity. We did receive a federal subsidy payment of $359,000, as well as we did transfer that out to the district, and that shows at the bottom of the statement $359,000 was transferred. Phase 2, the sources for year-to-date reflects a receipt of $695,000 that went into the ban account, and that was for a reimbursement from the district for the principal payment. The district normally makes the principal payment for the ban, and it was paid out of the ban proceeds back in June, so the district reimbursed the JSCB for that amount. So that's why you see that coming in. Also, the earnings on investment to this point is $646,000. That's from June through September. That would be an increase of $231,000 from August. And our total capital outlay is $26.5 million. That has not changed from the August statement because the vendor payments that were approved in September will reflect in the October statement. They didn't get paid until October, and we always report everything on an actual basis when it actually got spent. And I'm going to move on to page 7, and this is our cash flow statement. This report represents the sources and disbursements on a cash basis that flow through all the JSCB accounts. The actual figures are provided from July to September, and October through June is all projected. These are basically the activities and things we think are going to happen throughout the year. The cash flow statement reflects that we will end the fiscal year with approximately $150 million, and that's mostly in the form of bond proceeds. And that is, and you'll notice there in February, we've projected the fact that we are going to bond for the final 5 projects, and that does include that as well. And on page 8, this is our inception to date report. This shows incidental and construction costs paid by the JSCP to date, and they're presented by category in Phase 1 and Phase 2. So the inception to date sources total for Phase 1 is $142.9 million, and the total expenses are $141.6. And for Phase 2, we're showing a total sources of $215 million, with total expenses of $95 million to this point. And that concludes my report. Any questions?
Now, I don't have any questions on this. Our fiscal year-end audit, has that been presented to us?
No, not yet. The auditors are there, and they're currently looking at all the JSCB data, and they're compiling, and we should have year-end financial statement hopefully presented to the board in January. That's what we're shooting for. We are running a little bit behind, but they are on site.
It doesn't have to be approved by year-end?
No. Mm-mm. It may be, I believe it will be approved possibly by the Board of Ed.
I thought there was a
In
statutory
December.
requirement that it had to be approved by a certain date.
There is, so December 31st for all school districts is the deadline. There's a 30-day waiver, so we're going to exercise the 30-day waiver. We won't be done with the district financials until January either. So we'll approve them both with the Board of Ed and then here at the JSCB.
So, and I'm aware of the districts, but isn't there a statutory requirement for this body as well?
There is, because it consolidates into the district and the city, so we have until the end of January if we exercise that waiver.
So as I remember now, then, I thought it was the middle of January. It's actually 30 days?
It's 30 days.
Cutting it close.
Mm-hmm. We'll make it.
No, yeah. So you know, I used to want that done this month. So you can talk about that another time.
Bring it in December, we certainly will do that, but December's meeting will be early because of the holiday.
Right. And so we wouldn't make it by the December 21st because the meeting is early in December because of the holiday.
Is there, if I know you folks are going to make it, there is a penalty if it isn't done by the end of January. Is there a penalty to this body for our work that you're aware of? That you're aware of?
I think on that point, is that something that we can, obviously this year we have to focus on getting it done within that window. Next year, can we focus on doing better?
Absolutely.
Not cutting it so close?
That's our goal.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
My understanding is that JSCB financials are considered a component unit of the school district, so
Right.
we don't file an independent audit. It's
Understood,
built into
but it all rolls up, so then the school district rolls up into ours, and, you know.
Oh, correct.
So the longer we're waiting for our component units, the longer I'm waiting. Joe?
No, I completely understood. I meant that more in terms of, I was thinking of responding to Calvin's question. I don't believe
I see.
there's a separate penalty for this board independently of that overall audit.
Right, understood.
Just wanted to clarify that.
Thanks.
We do have several payment resolutions
Okay.
this morning,
All right, let's work through them.
starting with resolution number 58, the payment for Landon and Ryan.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 59 would be the payment for the Turner Construction Company.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 60 would be our payments for the Tranche 1 contractors.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Mayor, I just, and that one, it's proved no big deal.
Sure.
The contractors, are there so many that we wouldn't want to name them in the resolution?
Well, because of the number of them, we've been adding them as an appendix to the resolution.
Yep.
If you
Okay.
refer to the appendix, it
Yep.
has the individual companies.
Okay. One more?
And finally, resolution number 61 would be the payment for the tranche 2 contractors.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried.
That completes our resolutions for today.
Any further business to come before the board? Motion to adjourn? All in favor? Aye. Meeting is adjourned.